All right, so let's get into today's video. You're going to need a chair that doesn't have any arms in it. You're going to use either a tennis ball. If you don't have a tennis ball, get a small canned good out of your cabinet and have a towel or a piece of cloth available to put over it. Or if you do know or have what is called a Theracane, you can use the Theracane, and I'll teach you each of these techniques. All right, so to use the tennis ball, you're going to put it underneath your thigh. You use your fingers first to push under in that hamstring area to find where you're tight or tender. Get really high because the hamstring attaches into that sit bone. So you want to feel all the way there for any tenderness or tightness. You want to go across your leg too to find your most tender spot. And really press in there. So a good way to do it is claw your hand like this, and you're going to use your fingertips, the pads of your fingertips, not your fingernails, like a spider crawling. And when you do that, it'll be able to provide you a lot of pressure to get into those tight spots. Really relax your leg down so the weight of your leg is on your fingers while you're feeling for that. And I found a good spot right here. The second spot I would say is up here. So I'm going to take my ball. You just go ahead and place it where you found that original tender or tight spot along the back of your thigh. Let the weight of your leg come down over it. If you feel it but think you can take a little more pressure, then just take your hands, put a little pressure on it. Do not cross your leg over, especially if you have back pain. That can put a real strain into your low back, so we're not going to do that. Also, I want you to notice my knees are about as high as my hips. When you're doing this in a chair, make sure that your knees are at least at the same height of your hip or higher. If they're below, your knees are below your hip level, that could strain the back. So put a pillow or something underneath your feet to get your leg up, all right? Then, once you've got this underneath, you are allowed to press down. There's no problem doing that to make you really feel it. As long as you're relaxed and you're breathing naturally, you can't injure yourself. Besides a tennis ball, another thing you can use just in the home, go into your cupboards, find a small canned good like this. This is a 5 ounce of something. And you're going to use this for compression where we just use the tennis ball, but put some kind of a cloth, a heavy terry cloth around it because it has those hard edges. You don't want that getting into your skin for 5 minutes. And you can put it this way. You can run it long ways. This is probably a little easier. Same thing, I found that spot. Now I can either just let my leg relax over it, or I can give a little pressure into it to create more compression of that canned good up into that myofascial restriction. This technique can also be used with the Theracane, and you would just use the hook end with the ball at the end of the Theracane, place that under your leg is nice and relaxed, and you just kind of crowbar up into the back of your thigh. You're looking for something in the back of your thigh, your hamstring, that's tight or tender. And I've got a very tender spot up here too. Once you find your spot, do you see what I'm doing? I'm just kind of leveraging up, crowbarring into the back of my thigh. My shoulders are relaxed, my hands are here. I'm not like this, that's a lot of shoulder work. I'm here making it very easy on my body. If you have any back pain, you want to put a support behind you in your back. So I'm using the cane, and we're going to do what's called soft tissue mobilization. So I've got compression now in the back of my thigh. When you put mechanical energy into the body, and mechanical energy can either be compression, which we're doing today, it can be elongation and twisting too. But when you put a mechanical energy into the body, after 5 minutes, it starts this electrical flow called the piezoelectric effect. And that piezoelectric effect flows along fascia. And we really want to work the fascial band because it's so overlooked, often overlooked in traditional therapies, but yet it contributes to so many different conditions and pain problems in our body. A lot of us with low back pain have conditions in other parts of our body where the fascia has become tightened down over the years of overuse or repetitive use or stress. And when fascia tightens down, it tightens and pulls through the rest of the fascial band. Well, the fascial band in our body is just one single piece of material. So the fascia down here that gets tight, because we use our hamstrings a lot in our lifetime. When the fascia is tight down here, it starts pulling through the rest of the fascial band, going up through our back. So often people who have low back pain don't think about looking at the back of the hamstrings, the back of the thigh, as a source of that pain. So we're working on the hamstrings to help alleviate that symptom, that strain, that pull in the low back. So what I was saying before is you need to do a minimum of 5 minutes of compression or elongation or twisting, the mechanical energy into the body to start that electrical flow. But you can stay there longer, and I encourage that. You want to stay 6, 7, 8 minutes in a spot to help get the fascia that's been knotted down, glued down, and dehydrated to start opening and releasing its pressure on those muscles. Because when we can relieve pressure on the muscles, then you're improving flexibility, you're relieving pain, because muscle tissue is pain-sensitive tissue. And most of all, because you're giving elasticity back to the fascia, it stops pulling into your low back. So a lot of you who have desk jobs and are in front of a screen maybe all day, your hamstrings and the fascia back there gets very tight. So this is a really good one for you, especially if you notice you're starting to get back pain. This will help alleviate that strain from the back of your thigh, the fascia in the back of the thigh, up into the low back. All right, we're at about 4.5 minutes. So I'm going to take you through to 5 minutes, but on your own, go ahead and do 6 or 7 minutes. You're feeling for it, you're looking for releases. A release feels like there's less pain while you're there. You might feel softening. You might feel a click or a pop somewhere. That's just as the fascia opens and releases, your structure gets to move back into its natural place. So you might feel a click or a pop once you get up from working on yourself. Either in your knee, you might feel it in your low back, you might feel it in the spine, and that's a good sign. All right, so that's 5 minutes. And I want you to know you can continue doing that at home for as long as you like. You won't hurt yourself. You just get more and more releases. All right, so if you have any questions, you want some further information, you can comment below. You can follow me on Instagram at MaryFellingPT. Or you can send me an email at bodyschoolfm@gmail.com. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to see you in our next video.